Kelsey, and welcome to our September wrap-up video. I am so excited to share with you all of the books that I read in September. I am so sorry that this video is late. It's coming out to you like halfway through the month. We had family in town, we had a wedding, we had all kinds of fun things happening. So I did not get the chance to sit down and film a video for you with all of the fun things that I read in September. So now I'm like sitting down and now I have a cold. So I sound awful, but we're just gonna push through and pretend like I don't. And we're gonna talk about the 17 books that I read in September. I have a list, we're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna push forward. So we're gonna start with that. I got all except for Some Kind of Perfect read in the Addicted Callaway series, and oh my gosh, Reich and Daisy's book ended with The Long Way Down, and it was my favorite so far of the whole series. It is a 5-star book for me. It is my favorite of the whole series so far. I bawled like a baby in that book. It is 5-star. It is 5-star. I will be thinking about A Long Way Down for, that is so far, some people say Some Kind of Perfect is the perfect way to end the series, but I don't think you can top A Long Way Down. A Long Way Down just felt so, I think that's why I'm having such a hard time picking up Some Kind of Perfect, is because it just felt like the perfect ending to the series for me. A Long Way Down did. But Some Kind of Perfect is, I'm gonna pick it up. I promise. I'm ready to read it, but A Long Way Down just was so good. It was the perfect ending to Reich and Daisy. It was the perfect ending to all of the chaos. We got to see glimpses of all kinds of things. It was so good. Next, I read A Devious Husband, which ends the Windsor Brothers series, and it's Sierra's story, and I went from the perfect ending to a series to an ending to a series that just, it let me down. It let me down. I was expecting so much from Xavier and Sierra's story. Oh, sorry guys. And Sierra and Xavier's story just, it still got a 5-star, because you can't not, or not 5-star, got a 4-star, still got a 4-star, still got a 4-star. You can't not give the Windsor Brothers series anything other than a 4-star, because they're so well written and their stories are so good, and Sierra is such a good character, and it set up a lot of fun things that I think she's going to write a whole nother series on the Kingston brothers, and I'm super excited about that, and I'm super intrigued about that. But I was expecting so much from this couple, because from page 1, sentence 1, word 1, this couple has been teased, and it fell flat for me, and I'm so sad about it. I'm so sad about it. It bothered me. It was so sad. I had such high expectations for that book, and it was kind of a bummer. Anyways, the next ones I read, it kind of redeemed it. It kind of took it back up to that, okay, I felt flat. I was in a little bit of a slump. I didn't know what to read. I was actually okay, what do I read now? I was talking to one of my friends. She was feeling the same way I did. And so we buddy read Laura Roberts' books, Powerless and Reckless. And mic drop. Where have we been? What have we been doing? Why haven't we not read these books? Powerless and Reckless are romantasy, they're teen fiction books. Where have I been? They've been out for a minute, and why have I not read them yet? Someone tell me why I had not read them yet. They were so good. Kai and Peyton's tension, and Kai and Peyton's fight for understanding of each other was so good. Powerless was my favorite of the two, and I think it's because Powerless set a lot of things up, and Powerless had a lot of will they, won't they. Powerless had a lot of building, and it also had Kit in it, and Kit kind of played this almost mediator in the first book, and he played this kind of what is Kit up to? Does she like Kit? Does she not like Kit? Like, it was very, like, very interesting. And it very much felt like Hunger Games meets Fourth Wing meets Divergent, which are all series that I love. I mean, I have Hunger Games down here. I have Divergent down here. I'm obsessed with Fourth Wing. All things that I love. So it felt very, like, natural for me to read these books. And then Reckless had some of the best character tension in a book that I have read in forever, between Kai and Peyton. I was like, and there's zero smut in these books. Like, everyone always gives me, like, my family always gives me crap all the time. They're like, all you ever read is smut. All you ever read is smut. There's zero smut in these books. Zero. Sub-zero. I mean, the closest thing they do is kiss. And it's not even like a passion. It's passionate kiss. But it's not even like a passionate kiss. It's like they kiss. Okay? That's the closest thing. And oh my gosh, the tension that is built between these two characters, between Kai and Peyton, because of the things that they think that the other person knows and that they did and that they didn't. It's like, I could not. And my friend Sammy and me, Buddy, read them, and I was texting her, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, it was ridiculous. And I cannot wait for April for the third in this trilogy to come out. I'm so stinking excited for it. I think that everybody needs to read these books, whether you're a preteen or a teen, whether you're an adult, whether you're a grandma, whoever you are, you need to read Powerless and Reckless. I gave Powerless a 4.75 because I really liked the setup of it, and it really did give me Hunger Games meets Divergent meets Fourth Wing vibes, whereas I gave Reckless a 4.5 just because there were a couple of times in Reckless that it just felt a little bit repetitive and a little bit like, we've been there, done that, come on, let's keep going. But these are her first books that she's ever written and published. This woman's never written and published any other books, and these are amazing books. How? I will read everything this woman writes. They are so good. They are so good. So good. Then, on the Kindle app, you can do Kindle challenges. I don't know if you know that. It gives you like these little medals to do challenges, and I love a good challenge. And one of the challenges in September was to read a Kindle novella series. So I was like, all right. And so I read the Kindle novella series, A Marriage Auction by Audrey Carlin. And it was pretty good. It was cute for a Kindle novella series. And the premise of the series is that you can go to this auction and find your spouse by paying millions of dollars of money to have them for 3 years. And the idea is that Miss Alana, who runs the auction, is trying to help people find love. But really, people are there for all kinds of reasons. And the marriage auction follows 4 couples who are navigating their marriage auction situation. And there's 4 books that follow the 4 couples. And it's not that each couple gets their own book, it's that you're following them through 4 books. And it was cute and it was fluffy, and I'm an Uber driver. That's what I do part-time. And so I was able to listen to it on audiobook, and it was just a quick and easy read. And the series overall, I'm going to rate the series overall because each book individually was kind of hard to read. It reminded me a lot of the series like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve or What to Expect When You're Expecting, where there is a lot of like interconnectedness, and then the characters are doing their own thing, and then there's this story happening over here and this story happening over here and this character, but somehow they're all connected. And so it was really hard for me to like rate each book individually, so I'm going to give the series itself an overall star rating, and I'm going to give the series itself a 3-star. I did like the series. It was a cute series. Again, it was just an easy series to like pick up after I was listening to Powerless and Reckless and needing something to just listen to while I was Uber driving. And it was 4 books, so I was able to listen to it for a whole week while I was Uber driving around. And it was cute, and it checked off that box to get the little medal for my Kindle app, and there's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, it had its cute moments, it had its spicy moments, it had its holy cow, that was interesting moments. Would I read it again? Probably not. Am I gonna buy it for the shelves? No. There you go. The next two that I read were by QB Tyler. One of the YouTubers that I absolutely love and adore. She is obsessed with QB Tyler, and so I thought I would give QB Tyler a chance. They were okay. I read, what did I read? I read First Semester and Second Semester by QB Tyler. Again, they were super easy, super quick reads. I listened to them on Audible. First Semester is a student-teacher romance. She meets him in a bar. They have a fun encounter one night, and then she goes to school and finds out that he's her professor. And from there, they just kind of have this oh my gosh, how do we navigate this? And they're really short, so that was I was able to finish it in a day. And then the second semester, is that it's a age gap romance. He is kind of a playboy at her dad's law firm, and he is her dad's best friend, and they are lawyers together at the law firm, and she goes to intern there, and she realizes that she is in love with him. And it's, again, they were really short. They were 250, 300 pages. Finished them in a day. They were easy peasy, lemon squeezy, spicy all the way, fun, nothing to write home about, not going to buy them for the shelves. And that's sometimes, both with the Marriage Auction and QB Tyler books, sometimes you need palette cleansers like that, right? You need books that you can just blast through in a day, that they're not books that you're going to write home about. They're not books you're going to call your mom and be like, oh my gosh, Mom, you have to read this book. You're not going to call your best friend and be like, oh my gosh, Emily, Sammy, Kendra, those are my people. You need to read these books. They're just books that cleanse the palette so you can move on to the next books that you're obsessed about. And those are what these last couple of books were. They were just let's cleanse the palette. Let's get to a place where we can have even ground again. And I appreciate good books like that. And not every author needs to have books that we're obsessed about. And here's the thing. What I'm obsessed about, you might not be you might be obsessed about. And that is something that I love about reading. You might find the Marriage Auction to be your jam, and you might be totally obsessed with those books. And I am here for that. Be obsessed with the Marriage Auction books. I might be obsessed with the Powerless and Reckless books, and you might read them and be like, oh my gosh, they're exactly like Divergent. I've already read Divergent, and I don't want to read those again. And that's fine, and that's the joy of reading, and that's the joy of writing, and that's the joy of everything about this, is that reading and writing and doing all of that is for everyone. And there is something that can be written and read that meets everyone's tastes. Just because I like something doesn't mean you're gonna like something. Just because you like something doesn't mean I'm gonna like something. And that's something that I love about reading. So the next two that I read was the Kingston Lane books. I had read My Temptation last year when it came out, and I had really enjoyed it. So I reread it, and I gave it the same rating that I gave it last year, which was 4 stars. And then I read My Rules, which was the next book that just came out, and it follows the other couple on the block. Again, it was a cute book. I gave it a 4 star. It was not one that I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, am I going to read the next one in the series when it comes out? Yes, I love T.L. Swan. Yes, I need to know what else is happening on the block. Yes, I need to know what happens to the next, am I going to read it? Yes. Am I, going to own the books? Probably. So we're just going from there. I finally read Funny Story by Emily Henry this month. It's been on my shelf for 900 years. I gave it a 4.25 stars. I really liked the journey we went on with Funny Story. So Funny Story, the plot is that she was engaged to get married, and her fiance broke up with her, and he married his childhood best friend, or he's like starts dating and gets engaged to his childhood best friend, and she, the girl who got broke up with, ends up with the childhood best friend's boyfriend. And it was such a cute little like anecdote, like it was so cute. It was so cute. I loved it. I loved the journey that she went on in the book of like self-discovery and understanding who she was and understanding like what she needed and how she needed to stand up for herself and how she needed to be like who she needed to be and how she needed to validate her inner self. I loved that. The next one was Perfect Fit. And Perfect Fit was a perfect fit for me. I had been in kind of like, again, funny story was like me climbing out of this like land of like, okay, we've got all these books that just had like been palate cleansers. We're still slowly climbing out of. Perfect Fit was it. Perfect Fit was a 4.75 book for me. It was so good. It was so good. It was a 5 on the Audible. If you had just listened to it on the Audible, I was literally texting my people being like, this book is killing me because it's so good. Because I listened to it on Audible. And it was the most perfect Audible book. The most perfect Audible book by Sadie Kincaid. So the premise of it is that there's these 3 guys. They're in like a polyamorous relationship with each other. And they realize that they need a woman to kind of like balance them out. And that they're all like bisexual and they want a woman to balance them out. And they've been trying to find a woman. They like want to like contractually find a woman to fit in with them. And they just haven't been able to find one. They've tried like a million women at this point. And every time it doesn't work out. And so they're getting ready to like give up, and Lily walks into their lives, and they each meet Lily on a different occasion. And so they decide one last time to like give it a try with Lily, and then Lily becomes the perfect fit. And oh my gosh, the Audible of this book cleared the drool off my face. It is the spiciest Audible. The man who plays one of the characters, he's panty dropping good. Oh my god. I don't know if I should say that on the internet. My mom watches this channel. Sorry, Mom. But like, he is so good. His voice is butter. 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 It's so good. It's so good. His voice is so good. And I was like texting my best friend being like, oh my god, this is so bad. I should not be listening to this. This is so dirty. I'm a pastor's wife. This is so good. And she was like, girl, get yourself together. And I was like, no, I refuse to get myself together. This is so good. The story ends up being really great. It's got a little bit of a mafia twist to it. It's got like, it's just such a fun story. It was so good. It was a 4.75 for me. And then the last series that I binged like a freaking mad woman and have like fallen totally in love with, and it was had a 5-star book for me, which if you know anything, I don't give out 5 stars easily. I gave 5-star to A Long Way Down, but it is the only book in the series that I gave a 5-star to. Like, I don't give 5 stars very easily. I finally read the Pucking Around series by Emily Rath, and the first book in that series, Pucking Around, got a 5-star from me. I absolutely am obsessed with Pucking Around. So it's Pucking Around, Pucking Wild, and Pucking Sweet that I just came out, and I finally read Pucking Sweet. And oh my gosh, Pucking Around gets a 5-star. Pucking Wild gets a 4.25 star. It was okay. And then Pucking Wild gets a 4.75 for me. So the premise of all things that Emily Rath writes is she's an LBGQ plus advocate, and I just love that about her. I love those kind of books. I love that we have advocates in this world for that. And so the first book that she writes is a polyamorous relationship with 3 men and 1 girl, and they are all exploring their sexuality. They're all exploring who they are. They're all exploring what they need in a relationship, and they're all exploring where they are, and they kind of stumble upon each other, and it's on a hockey team. All of her books are taking place on the Jacksonville Rays hockey team. All 5 of these books that are going to come out are all taking place on the Jacksonville Rays hockey team. And oh my gosh, is it not only the steamiest book that I've ever read, but just like the sweetest book and like the most heartfelt book and like the character development, and like it is chunky. It is thick. It's like almost 750 pages, but like I couldn't put it down. I literally, I haven't read a paperback book in forever, and I read that book in paperback, and I like stayed up until like 3 a.m. to finish it. It was so good, and it's a character-based book. You're following each character, so that's something that I loved, but oh my gosh, I loved it. And I loved Pucking Wild. I gave Pucking Wild a 4.25 star book. It followed another set of characters from the Jacksonville Rays. I loved that book too. It followed Tess and Ryan from that series. And again, they're exploring their sexuality. They're exploring who they are. Tess has a backstory that was very, very like relatable to me. It just was a little bit slower in its pacing than the other book. Even though it's thinner, you would be like, oh, it's thinner. It just is pacing. It felt like it took forever for us to get some of the information out. And so the pacing was a little bit slower for me. And then Pucking Sweet, 4.75. We're back to three, 2 guys, 1 girl. We've got Poppy, Cole, and Lucas. And oh my gosh, that story was so good too. So, I mean, Emily Rath, I cannot wait to find out what happens next. You kind of teed up the last book at the end of, or the next book at the end of Pucking Sweet, and I am totally sold. The day that it comes out, I will be buying it, and I cannot wait. So there you go. So those are the 17 books that I read this month. So I cannot wait for October. We're already knee deep in October, so I'm already knee deep in my reads for October. So I can't wait to share with you what I've got in October. Spooky season, spooky books. So there you go. So until next time, friends, bye-bye.